Happy Tuesday, everyone. Just in case you missed yesterday's encouragement from T Speaks, for this week we are going to dive into 5 keys to living crowned and confident. 5 keys to living crowned and confident. So each day you'll get a different key on how you can live crowned and confident. Yesterday's key, just as a little recap, is get your God-ordained crew. And it's important to get your God-ordained crew because you can't just have any and everybody in your ear. It's also important to discern and important to understand who your God-ordained crew is. Again, it's important for you to have that spirit of discernment. It's important for you to have this sensitive ear. So today's topic that we're going to be speaking on, today's key is going to be, today's key that I'm going to be giving you is get your foundation, or lay your foundation. However way you want to say it. I'm going to say lay your foundation. So it's important for you to lay your foundation, and I feel like this came right after yesterday's topic because, again, let me backtrack. Again, these are not in any type of order. These are just keys that have been given to me by God to give to you all, to offer you, to let you know how you too can live crowned and confident. So yesterday, like I said, we spoke on getting your God-ordained crew. And getting your God-ordained crew is very, very important when you are getting your foundation. Because sometimes you have to pull up the old foundation and relay the new foundation. Sometimes you have to build on top of the old foundation. But it's important to make sure that when you're building on top of your old foundation, that old foundation is still firm. Make sure it's still fresh. Make sure it's still able to sustain you. Make sure it's still able to sustain the weight that you will be carrying, the burdens that you will bear. And not all burdens are ugly burdens. Not all burdens are bad burdens. All burdens have beauty behind them. So again, it's important for you to lay that foundation. It's important for you to also know the foundation that you are standing on. Know the foundation that you are founded in. And these things are important because when you go, I'll use the example of a hotel. The foundation of a hotel at the bottom has to be firm, because no matter how high up you go, you expect to be safe. You expect to be secure. You expect to not be leaning, not be wavering, not be teeter-tottering. I'll say that. You expect to not be teeter-tottering as you go higher. So much like our walk with Christ, our kingdom walk, much like that, we need to make sure that our foundation from the bottom is laid. You can't start from the middle and lay a firm foundation and expect the bottom to be firm. You have to go back to the bottom. Sometimes, like I said, you have to pull out what no longer belongs. Sometimes you're able to lay on top of what has already been laid, but you have to make sure that it's firm. You have to make sure that it's trustworthy. You have to make sure that it's weight-bearing. There's a lot of things that come into play when laying your foundation. And it's no mistake. So I'm going to give you just a little backstory. So last week each week I've been doing a book of the Bible, seeing where I've been led to go. So last week I was in 1 Chronicles. Assuming that I was in 1 Chronicles, I just kind of assumed that I would be in 2 Chronicles this week, because that's usually how it goes. So he led me to the book of Nehemiah. No mistake that he led me to the book of Nehemiah, because in 1 Chronicles, if you have not read it, I would suggest that you just read the whole Bible. I mean, don't just read it, but go into it and actually deep dive, because the more that you deep dive, the more you pull out. Each and every time you read, and you could read the same passage 3 different times and get 3 different things out of it. But back to what I was saying. So I was in 1 Chronicles last week, and just a little bit of backstory on First Chronicles is it shows you the importance of worship. It shows you the importance of going back and understanding your lineage. It shows you the importance of understanding who you are. And it starts right away with, this name is this person who belongs to this person. So it lets you know that names are important. It lets you know that your identity and your plan that God has for you is going to come to pass. No matter how much you fight it off, it's still gonna come to pass. It may not come when you think it's gonna come. You may feel like, oh, I've messed up so much. Oh, I've done this or I've done that, so I'm not gonna be able to come back into one with him. It proves to you that you can mess up. You're going to reap the consequences of that mess up. But you repenting, you going back, you being true and remaining true to who he has called you to be at all times, in front of people and behind closed doors. When you remain true in all of that, he's going to give you grace. Grace to sustain you. Grace to let you know that he has you in the palm of his hand. Grace to let you know that you're forgiven. Grace to let you know that he's got you. Grace to let you know that you've been forgiven. That's basically what I took out of that. So in starting with First Chronicles, and learning all of that, quite naturally, like I said, I thought that I was going to be going to Second Chronicles. Well, make no mistake, God makes no mistakes. When he led me to Nehemiah, I was a little confused at first, because I'm like, I was in First Chronicles, like, why wouldn't I go to Second Chronicles? So when he led me to Nehemiah, it shows the building. In order for you to build, in order for you to lay your foundation, you have to understand where you come from. In order for you to lay your own foundation, have it be a Christ-led foundation, have it be a firm foundation, have it be a Bible-based foundation, have it be a kingdom foundation. In order for you to do all of those things, sometimes you have to backtrack and see where you came from. Sometimes you have to backtrack and understand what your parents laid, understand what your grandparents laid, understand what your great-grandparents laid, and even beyond them. So when you go back and you understand the foundation that has been laid before you, you better have an understanding. Well, you have a better understanding. I said it backwards. You have a better understanding of what you need to do to gain your firm foundation. You have a better understanding of how to even go about laying your firm foundation. You have a better understanding of, okay, well, this piece can stay, but this piece right here needs to come up, and we need to make sure that we've got, I don't know how they lay the foundation, but we need to make sure we've got the clay or whatever to smooth it out. We need to make sure we've got the right tools to make sure that everything is smoothed out correctly. We need to make sure that we have the right things, the right equipment. We need to make sure that we have the right product, because you could be laying it with, I'm just going to use this as an example, the three little pigs. The one built their house with straw, the other built their house with hay. I forget the story. But you know, the three little pigs, and how each foundation was a little bit firmer each time. It means that they had a little bit more, each one had a little bit more wisdom. Each one had a little bit more knowledge. But then when it came to the last one, he built his house out of brick, I think. I gotta go back and read the story, and I'm a teacher. It says a lot. But it just shows you that as you grow, as you get older, you gain more wisdom, you gain more knowledge, you gain more insight. And in gaining more wisdom, knowledge, and insight, you have a little bit better understanding of this is what I need to do. This is what I need to pull up. This part can stay, but I need to smooth it out a little bit more. You can't necessarily lay your foundation until you go back and see what before you has been laid. And by that, I mean, being as someone that is called to shift generations, as someone that is called to break the generational curses, as someone that has been called to transition, or I'm going to say transition, as someone who has been called to transition those generational habits, break up those generational habits, as someone who has been called to do each of those things, it requires you to go back and understand your lineage. I'm going to leave in the comment section Crystal Chris Wooden. She has been a guest on my podcast, Crown Heirs Declared. So I'm going to link that in the description or in the comments, whichever one you may be watching on, Facebook or YouTube. I'm going to link that episode in the podcast. I'm going to link that episode in the description or in the comments so that you can get a better understanding, because she broke it down in a way of understanding, in a way of why you need to gain the knowledge. Because sometimes you're mad at this person or you're upset at this person. You don't understand the meaning, or you don't understand the importance behind what has been done. But it goes back to understanding your lineage. So I'm going to give you that in the description box. I'm also going to, I was featured on as a guest at the table with Claudine. I also spoke on the importance of the foundation on that show. So I'm going to leave that YouTube in the link or in the comment description. I'm going to leave that in there as well. It just breaks down a little bit more of the importance of understanding why you need a firm foundation, understanding the importance of your foundation, even understanding your foundation, period. Because us as parents, and even as children, we're children and we're parents. So we need to understand our foundation so that we can better lay the foundation for our children. Sometimes, like I said, that requires us to pull things up. Sometimes that requires us to relay things. Sometimes that requires us to leave things, but just shift it a little bit. So, again, like I said in the beginning, these 5 keys are not given in any type of order. I believe that they have been given in the order that I use them, because I had a foundation and my foundation wasn't quite the correct foundation. And in that, I had to get my God-ordained crew and understand my God-ordained crew. Once I understood my God-ordained crew, they were able to help me lay my foundation. And I want to give honor to my parents, all 4 of my parents. I would like to give honor to all 4 of them. That is Tammy, Spencer, Kevin, and Denise. I want to give honor to them because they are always open for me to come and talk to them. I, being the person that I am, do not always go and just spill or whatever. I don't always go and vent. I usually keep things to myself until it gets to the point where I have to go and talk to somebody. But they have equipped me. They have given me the foundation where I can go to understand where I've come from. They have given me the foundation to understand and to better help my own kids. They have given me the foundation to understand me, but they've also given me the tools and the equipment to be able to shift or transition if I feel like my foundation is wavering a little bit. So I would like to give honor to them. My mom, Denise, who is also my pastor, I would like to give honor to her as well. And last but certainly not least, I want to give honor to God. because without him, I would not be the person that I am today. Without him coming to get me when he got me, shaking me up, waking me up, whatever, when he came and did that, I would not be before you today, being able to even give you these keys. And let me be completely honest, 9 times out of 10, when God is calling us to do something, it is a very uncomfortable move that he is calling us to do. A very uncomfortable move that he's calling us to do. But it might be uncomfortable to us, and although it might look like it's put together for others, it's not always that. It's not always easy. So that is just a little bit of a backstory, I guess, on the importance of your foundation, because when you have that firm foundation in Christ, when you have that kingdom built foundation, you're able to walk in your crown confidence. You're able to better understand, and you're able to boldly move. You're able to make bold moves. So understanding your foundation, laying your foundation, getting your firm foundation, however you want to say it, it is definitely rooted. And you need to understand, number one, what you're rooted in. You need to understand what you're laying. And you also need to understand what you're setting for those that are coming behind you. And if it is not a firm foundation, if it's not a kingdom built foundation, it's going to waver. So it's very important for you to understand that your foundation matters. Understand that your foundation matters. Like I said, I will link the 2 things in the description box. Can't talk this morning. I will link the 2 things in the description box or in the comment section. I highly encourage you to listen to both of them to get a better understanding and a better grip, a better grasp on the importance of laying a firm foundation. The first thing that I mentioned is the podcast with Chris Wooden. And then the second thing that I mentioned is I was featured at the table with Claudine Hicks. So I'm going to leave both of those. I want you guys to leave in the comment section, how are you going to rebuild your foundation? How do you know that your foundation is strong? What is your foundation founded in? Of course, you don't have to answer all 3 of them, but if you want to. But I challenge you to journal prompt each and every one of those questions, so that way you can better understand your foundation. So that way you can better understand how to set, how to lay, or even what to pull up for those that are coming after you. I love you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday.